Wayne. The Wolves had Brent Gross at full-back, Farfili, Gleeson, Coelov and Apo, Bridge and Wood captained the side at scrum half. Lightfall, Clark, Hilton the front row, Swan, Wainwright the second row, Westwood the loose forward. And on the bench, Noon, Mark Gleeson, Wood, Paul Wood that is, and Danny Lima, the coach Paul Cullen. Now the Saints, Wellens at full-back, Gardner, Lyon, Tallow and Albert, Hooper and Long, first choice backs. Forwards, there was no Gilmore, no Vinnie Anderson. So it's Fozzard, Cunningham and Paul Anderson, Wilkin, Bennett and Sculthorpe, the skipper, and the subs. Edmondson, Graham, Roby and Fassavalu. The coach is Daniel Anderson.
Well, a perfect night for rugby league. Middle of the summer, hardly a breath of wind. Nice and dry, pitch in magnificent nick, full house. And the Saints, their usual pre-match routine they are going through in those dressing rooms right now. The semi-final defeat was Daniel Anderson's first reverse, by the way, in 10 games. They look assured of a top 2 finish. It'll be their best campaign since winning the title itself in 2002. And they've already beaten Warrington twice this year. They won 2 dramatic last gasp wins in the Super League this year. And Paul Sculthorpe, formerly of Warrington himself, hopes that they will make it third time lucky here at the Holton Stadium tonight. The Warrington Wolves, 6 rounds to go, 4th in the table. They are neck and neck with Hull in the quest to finish 3rd. It means 2 home games in the playoffs, and if they're successful, they then go in a one-off match for a place at Old Trafford. Will it be third time lucky for the Wolves against the Saints? 4th of March, they lost here 18-16, conceding 3 tries in the last 7 minutes. 29th of April at Nosey Road, they lost 31-30. Sean Long's drop goal settling it with the last kick of the match, and it will go down in history as being Ian Millward's final match in charge of the St Helens club. Wonderful atmosphere on show here for these 2 sides, and for all of you watching at home, Ian Smith is tonight's big match referee. And just before we get underway, I think all of us up here in the commentary box will wish the legendary Alex Murphy all the very best. He's in hospital apparently. He's had a mild heart attack, which is bad news for him, but good news that it's a mild one. And Alex, we're all wishing you back on the scene very quickly. Very much, of course, intertwined with these 2 clubs, St Helens and Warrington, won the Cup with Saints in 1961 and 1966, and with Warrington in 1974. So all the best, Alex. Enjoy the match as Chris Bridge gets this game underway, and Paul Wellens is underneath the kickoff. Here is Paul Anderson at charge forward, and it's Nathan Wood and Toa Koilov who holds him 18 metres from his own line, and they're appealing for a knock-on, but it's a penalty. A ball steal against Paul Anderson. Little wry smile from the big prop.
Yeah, you can see there, Koilov, should I say, his leg went right across, forced the ball away, lost it. Good work by the touch judge, but the opening gambit from the forwards, and here's Fozzard. This is going to be the key to this game. St Helens, they were just absolutely blasted away last week by Hull. The forwards are non-existent, they weren't allowed to run, and I'm sure that Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach, has made it quite clear. You have to work in the pack.
I'm sure he has made that clear. Paul Cullen, I know, was trying to make it clear to his players that they have to be disciplined. Discipline, he says, will help them to win this match. They've already conceded the first penalty in the opening minute. Here is Anderson. And John Clark gets to him with Toa Koilov again. There's the Warrington coach, very much coach of the moment, despite what happened in those semi-finals last week with that signing of Andrew Johns. That's something for these players to respond to, and Farfili will try and do that here.
Just a little bit too long there by the skipper, Paul Sculthorpe. Got plenty of height on it, but there was no real pressure of height to the wing of Farfili.
Warrington in possession then with Hilton for the first time in the match. They have ball in hand. Let's get down to the press box. Dave Hadfield, many contenders tonight, Dave, for your man of the match watch.
I'm sure there will be, but the Andrew Johns factor cast a long shadow over tonight. Brent Gross, Graham Appo and Nat Wood, they all know there's only going to be room for 2 of them when Joey arrives next month, so their form is going to be scrutinised more than most. There's a lot of comings and goings of the theme at St Helens as well. Darren Albert and Mark Edmondson booked their tickets out this week, but not Sean Long, at least at the moment. Edmondson wasn't picked in the cup last week. He'll be eager to show that he should be, and the players who did play want to get that taste of defeat out of their mouths.
And you know, that's the key. John Keir mentioned it in the pre-match. Warrington's ability to kick the ball and chase it fast and with great enthusiasm on the defence at the back of that really will give them a chance of winning the game tonight. Expect the fire and the go forward from Saints, but they've got to play as much as they possibly can away from their own danger zone.
It's Kieran Cunningham in possession here on tackle number 4 for the Saints. And now it's Sean Long. Fires the pass to Sculthorpe. Great ball round the corner. Oh, but a little fumble and a knock-on by 2 players. Long was one, Willie Talau was the other. And there's a bit of spite and a bit of meat in this match already.
Good work by Farfili.
It was John Wilkin, actually, who couldn't take the pass in.
Great work by Farfili there. He could see that the ball was being lodged away from Sculthorpe. Took the gamble. Created the error.
Warrington scrum then on halfway. Here is Nathan Wood. Oh, Nathan Wood, it's a great run. It's a terrific run. He's responding to the challenge of Andrew Johns' imminent arrival. Started this match absolutely sensationally. It's John Clark. Now Coelard makes a half break. It's an important tackle by Jamie Lyon. Quick play the ball. Clark again. Oh, off the chest of Lightfall. Picked up by Wellens. This will be play on because Saints will attack down the left-hand side.
Disappointed end. It was great work there. They got the ball away. The big fella Lightfall just took his eyes off the football. Not the best pass. This is pressure from both sides. This crowd is really up for it. And offside. You talk about the discipline, Eddie, about this Warrington outfit. Paul Cullen, he must wonder what on earth he's got to do to tell these players. How many times have we seen that this year? Warrington applying the pressure and just poof, throw it away.
Well, John Keir will know only too well, really. It was St Helens conceding penalties, really, in their own half last week that helped really hold in their cause in the semi-final. As it started here today, 2 early penalties going against Warrington.
It's remarkable that Paul Cullen was talking about discipline. Here is Long. He's got the ball away to Bennett, and the indiscipline has cost Warrington dear. Bennett is over behind the sticks. The try is given, and Mike Bennett has scored behind the post for the Saints, and their supporters going potty at one end, and the Warrington fans, the Warrington players, the inquest begins.
No better way than to just strike very early after you've conceded the penalty. Sean Long, superb work there. Not so sure about the final pass, but good positioning by the referee Ian Smith. Bennett just lopes over right underneath the sticks. It's the final pass that I'm worried about. Beautiful inside ball from Cunningham. He did well, ran on the arc. He was never going to be stopped. This is the one. Looks all right. And the reason why it looks all right, and it would have helped the official, that it was right on that line. Great work, though. We didn't see much running last week from Kieran Cunningham. He was shut down. But he run from dummy half, brought Long, very short inside pass. It was nothing shorter than superb.
Mike Bennett then with the try. Paul Sculthorpe now will try and add the extras. He had 2 years here at Warrington, 1995 to 1997, and he has made the score here 6-0 in St Helens' favour.
Well, a great way to bring the defence is to go one way, and then the little inside pass. Boom. See the opening? Mark Hilton, it shifted about a metre, and a metre too much, that allowed the little halfback, Sean Long, to scamper through. There is the try scorer. There's the man that made it. What a start.
2 penalties. and Warrington on the back foot because of them, John Keir.
Yes, exactly right, Eddie. I mean, in the semi-final we were squeaky clean and won the penalty count comprehensively. Warrington looked to be on top there. They were winning the ground, playing the ball quickly, but just an error and then a penalty which piggybacked the Saints up the field, gave them field position, and if St Helens get field position, they'll punish you.
I say the forwards are running very strongly, as Steve-O pointed out. Didn't do much of this last week in the semi-final. Fossard, good ball, Lyon, brilliant. Into the arms of Darren Albert. And Darren Albert, oh, that's 4 people have missed him.
That will not please Paul Cullen. They're grabbing at the top. They should be going for the leg. A little chip over, it's a short one. Will it bounce up?
Oh, it bounces almost perfectly, but Brent Gross does well. Tidies up for Warrington. And Gross will launch the counter. Halted by Kieran Cunningham.
What a season. What a season the fullback Brent Gross is having. Got plenty of pace, got good vision as well. Bobbled all over the place, but look at the fend off there. And then the step. Switching the ball so he could fend again. Cunningham got to him but had a second bite. Penalty given. It's all happening.
I've got a sneaky feeling that Brent Gross won't be one of the players who will be shown the exit door here at Warrington by Paul Cullen when Mr. Johns arrives. Here is John Clark. Hilton. Gross again.
Good defence there by Jason Hooper. Picked him out.
Westwood. Paul Cullen is bemused that Westwood is not in the Great Britain setup at the moment. Plays the ball to Nathan Wood. Oh, it's a slack pass. And it's a good job that Chris Bridge was there to pick it up. Chris Bridge showed in the defeat, albeit against Wigan, just what sort of quality he has got. Clark with the ball to Lightfall. Big hit by Paul Anderson. Quick play the ball. John Clark on the last. Stabs the ball to the in goal. Just too deep.
Well, they got there in numbers. Good work, though, from the hooker.
Look out, here's Albert.
Eddie, when St Helens are at the best, it's all about speed. And you've seen here within the first 9 minutes of this game, the try they scored was a result of the speed and efficiency with which the players came onto the ball. And everything today, look how sharp they are. They're flowing forward quickly. This momentum can be unstoppable.
On top of that as well was the ability of the 2 wingers. They made 30 metres forward just from the quick tap.
Warrington falling off the tackles alarmingly. They have a penalty, not standing square. Warrington.
Now then, will there be St Helens of old? Will they tap and run? Or will they just say, come on, we need the 2? Looks like he's going for it. Sculthorpe has pointed.
Marcus not standing square, offering St Helens the chance to increase the lead. And John Keir talking about the quick turnaround by comparison to Warrington over the past 6 days, that's all. Paul Cullen barking the instructions down the walkie-talkie, as is Daniel Anderson. John Keir, what about this? The fact that they're taking the 2 rather than running it?
Well, I think it's a good decision because it's a gift tool right under the post. But I think the interesting thing, Eddie, was the fact that that set of 6 started with a tap on the 20 and it finished up on tackle 5, 8 metres away from the Warrington line. And it had just been speed, speed, speed from the ruck area. Players pushing up in numbers, lots of options inside and outside. It was the St Helens of old.
The opening 10 minutes of this match, not bad for your team's CV, is it?
No, it isn't. It's very good indeed, and also if the scoreline stays like they said, it's good for the league table as well.
And the coaches always talk about that first play of the ball, really on a kick reception. Traditionally, the team gets the ball from a kick. On that occasion, it was a tap 20. But as the first play of the ball goes, really, that sets the tone for the rest of possession.
Sculthorpe takes full advantage. Another 2 points. It's 8-0. To St Helens.
Beautiful work by the wingers. Look, quick tap, Albert straight through, but look who's back in there. Watch for Gardner. Bang. Look at the meters they've made up there. That is absolutely superb play. They've been working hard as Saints. Daniel Anderson, the new coach, has obviously said, we want the best from you. Good support play as well.
So yet again, Warrington restart, courtesy of the boot of Chris Bridge. Underneath it, Wellens, the chase from Warrington not bad. Lightfall and Hilton got to the St Helens fullback.
what a great sigh of relief it was for the big prop forward, Paul Anderson. Wellens got the ball, looked at him, and Paul said, I'm really not ready for this.
He's ready for that one. That was a drive forward by Paul Anderson. Cunningham again, the dummy half. Here is Long. Oh, he's looking for a 40-20, is it? Oh, well, he sliced that one out on the full. He was going for the 40-20, no doubt.
Got himself good position as well. Not the best kick.
Said, or at least quoted on one or two websites this week, and I think I saw it on Sky Sports News this morning, that he is up for a move to the NRL. We shall see. Here's Brent Gross, Graham Appo.
Slightly forward with that one, it was bending all the way. But I just can't believe that a man that's coming into, with a team that's coming into the playoffs, has suddenly decided, I'd like to go down to Australia. Come on. We talked about the team spirit before the kickoff. What's up with these players? They sign a contract. Stick with it.
Hilton, good ball. Nathan Wood. Good tackling and a penalty here for Warrington, holding down as Nathan Wood is trying to make a quick play of the ball and get Warrington on the roll.
I'd take a tap here. Certainly was a flop. Well, I would go for the tap. Now they're going to go for the two, evidently.
Taking a tap.
Oh, he's done the tap. That's better. Apply the pressure. That's quick thinking there.
The referee then shouted, he's taking a tap, he's taking a tap. Here is Nathan Wood. He got the ball away, but Long was the man who swooped on it, and there is J.O.
Oh, it was daylight.
There was danger then for Warrington, because Darren Albert, had he taken that, would have been over under the sticks.
Yep. Things like that can turn the game. Not the best inside pass there from the halfback Nathan Wood. Nothing wrong with the pass. Just took his eyes off it just for a second. Now this is the incident. Now, while he's pointing, he would have been talking to the referee and saying...
Hang on, Chris Bridge.
I'm just saying it, while he was pointing, he would be telling the referee, I'm tapping it.
Another penalty against St Helens.
They'll tap again, surely.
Yes, they have, with Clark, who finds Nathan Wood, showed it to Wainwright, showed it to Coe Love, and another penalty for offside against St Helens.
Well, surely, 3 on the trot, he's got to bring the captain and say, I've had enough of this. Next one is in the sin bin.
They're all offside again. There was nobody there behind the try line for St Helens. They could be pinged again there.
Well, surely the advantage has been played now that it's been played by the man in possession.
They've got to have their foot on the line. This is Bridge. He gets the ball away to Gleeson. Martin Gleeson, who has not scored against St Helens this year for Warrington. This is Ben Westwood. St Helens muscling up in defence. Boy, they're quicksilver in attack. They're pretty resolute in defence. Clark got the ball away.
This will be the last. Surely they'll get the kick. Got to try to get the consecutive set of 6.
It's with Wood. There is the kick towards the in-goal area, looking for Graham Appo. And Darren Albert did brilliantly in the air.
Unbelievable take there. There were jumbo jets and all sorts flying around his ears.
Schofield on the run.
And again, it was less than 2.5 seconds between receiving the ball in the in-goal area and when St Helens have tapped the ball. They really want to play this game with a real intensity tonight.
They're trying to run Warrington off their feet early. I just wonder, again going back to the point John made in the build-up, whether Saints have got the petrol left for a battle royal late on.
Oh, they would feel embarrassed about the loss last week. They know they've got to perform tonight.
Salford and Wigan 6 apiece after a quarter of an hour. And here now is young James Graham. This is the last tackle for St Helens, 30 metres out. It's with Sean Long. He'll hoist the kick, looking for Darren Albert. Darren Albert at pace. Oh, he's got it, Albert! Darren Albert! Now then, he was held up. Somehow Warrington kept him out. It's Nathan Wood underneath it all again for Warrington.
What a great take, but full credit to Nathan Wood. Not the tallest player on the field, a little halfback there, but certainly got a good jump.
Warrington fans going potty. They believe that Saints offside here. Not there in that replay, but great defence.
Release it!
Important now that St. Helens don't give away a silly penalty. That's good thinking. Running on the blind side by Brent Gross.
He also knew that Jamie Lyon wasn't standing square. Here is Westwood again for Warrington. Terrific defence though from Saints.
It amazes me, Eddie, you know, over the past 10 years, that the players have become so intelligent.
Only in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Phil Clark.
Wow, just about qualified there, haven't I?
I know John Keir is smiling at me.
Well, John Keir wasn't playing 10 years ago. Neither was Steve-O, so I don't know whether you want to write a reply, Mr. Keir.
I can't reply, Eddie. He probably can't write. He's not that intelligent.
Oh, dear, dear. Here comes St. Helens again with Cunningham. He gets the ball away short to Wellens.
Good defence, though. They're creeping across. Coelov is working hard in that department. That's good pressure as well.
Sculthorpe kicking early in the tackle count and kicking too deep. Well, Paul Sculthorpe, let's hope that he will be fit for the Tri-Nations, because he has only played 15 in the Super League this year. Some people will say Steve-O coming into the Tri-Nations tournament at the end of the domestic campaign. Because of that, he will be fresh, but let's hope he's not chronically injured.
Well, he'll certainly have a fortnight's rest, won't he? The fact that he won't be going down to Cardiff, so there's a Great Britain hat on, yes. I'm glad that he will get that rest, but I'm sure he'll get back into it. What he's got to do, though, and a lot of the professional players have got to do it, they've got to hold their hand up if they're not fully fit. We've gone into against the New Zealanders and Australia far too many times with people that have not been 100%. We can't afford to do it.
It's a great kick by Wood, and he led the charge on Darren Albert then.
And it's so different from 2 weeks ago. We heard Paul Cullen in the pre-match preview talking about the fact that they've taken to pieces their last performance and they've rebuilt it here tonight. And that includes the important lesson of having a bit of patience and trying to play closer to your opponent's line.
Eddie Gardner with that run, halted by Bridge and Hilton. This is Graham again. James Graham, 19 of age. He's featured in 5 of the last 6. He's played prop and second row as well this year. Sculthorpe.
Bit of a problem as well for St. Helens. Jason Hooper picked up a knock. He's not fully with it. They'll push him way out into the centres.
Joe Coelov, I'm sure, was trying to steal the ball then off Paul Sculthorpe. It would have been a gift penalty for Saints had he got it. This is Apo. Halted by Bennett and, first of all, Darren Albert.
Such an important factor, isn't it? You've got to make sure that your kicking game is good, and that was right down the throat of the winger.
That was a great ball to Logan Swan, and wide it goes here now to the substitute, Paul Wood.
Well swept up there by Willie Tello. It had to be as well. That was great work from Warrington. They're building in confidence now. They're on the back burner for a while, but now they're swinging it around.
Danny Lima.
They've got to stand a little bit deeper. Far too often they've been caught flat running with the ball.
Here he comes again, the substitute, Paul Wood. Last tackle here for Warrington. John Clark, Chris Bridge, dab to the in goal. Oh, and a bit of a fumble. And it's a dropout underneath the sticks coming up for St. Helens.
Bit of a mix-up there, but Eddie Gardner got to make sure that he pounced on the football. Real mess.
John Keir, the kicking game for Warrington, much better than it was a fortnight ago against Leeds.
Exactly right. They've really learned from that of the Warrington Wolves. It's interesting that the turnovers that Warrington are affecting are in the St. Helens 20 metre zone, whereas St. Helens, as Sean Lloyd's kicked it out on the full, another time he's put it straight down the throat of Graham Appo. They're turning the ball over in midfield. So at the minute, the battle for field position is certainly going towards the Wolves.
And Lima trying to make more of that. Halted by 3. Lyon moves away. Sculthorpe was there. So too was Mike Bennett. Here is Nathan Wood. This is Ben Westwood.
Again, we see the forwards very flat, but not running into the defence. They're actually going on the angle.
Paul Wood hangs on despite the attentions.
10 metres.
It's Clark. Now Nathan Wood switches the direction. Good tackling again, though, by Kieran Cunningham. Lima, John Clark, Bridge, and wide it goes to Gleeson, and Gleeson almost around, and in fact gets the ball away to Farfili.
Beautiful offload as we go into ground there. But again, they're being caught very flat.
Bridge stabs the ball in, bounces off the legs, ricocheted, that's all. Still the last. Westwood dabs it towards the in-goal area. Lyon has it, and Lyon is trapped in goal.
Ooh, I thought he was going to offload it there.
He nearly was.
He was thinking about it. He was holding it basketball style.
Well, the one thing Paul Cullen will be pleased about is the intensity and the kicking game. He mentioned it pre-match. We mentioned it pre-match, Phil. It's 100% better than against Leeds.
Yeah, we suspected that it would be. And I have been mentioning the fact they need to show some patience, but they also need to score some points. You know, a few minutes ago, they made a break. Didn't quite have the speed to score. If they make a break, they've got to convert it into points because Saints really look up for this, and every chance has to be registered on the scoreboard.
Lima will drive it in again. He goes straight towards Sculthorpe and Lyon.
Your mind's got to go back to that incident where Sean Long picked up a loose pass from Warrington deep down in their own quarter, passed out to Albert, who had a clear run, lost the ball. They could suffer with that. That was a big error.
Hull London is our Sunday match this week. Sunday at 5 minutes to 6, Sky Sports 1. This is Bridge for Warrington. Oh, the pass really was never on. The pass was never on.
But I've been saying it, I don't want to just keep going on about it, but surely Paul Cullen has got to do something about this flat attack. Look at that. That has got a big red cross on it. If I could spell suicide, I mean, unbelievable.
Scrum goes down 10 metres from the St Helens line. I think John Keir could spell suicide.
Yes, I certainly could, yes, but that a problem, so I'm a mark upon Steve-O. But the interesting thing as well that we've got to realise, it's an 80-minute game, Eddie, and this pressure that Warrington are having, this defending, desperate defending St Helens are having to do on their own line, it may well take the petrol out of the tank for later in the game.
What about psychologically, though, John? Because, you know, Warrington have had so much possession for the last 10 minutes, but yet they've got nothing on the scoreboard to show for it.
Yeah, that's a call, but there again, they've just got to say that they've got to be patient, keep doing the things that they practice, and it will come for them eventually. But that's a pretty good kick there from Sean Long, just to get some field position away from their own red zone.
It was gobbled up by Brent Gross. Here's Henry Farfili, just behind the Leeds trio of Senior and Calderwood and Rob Burrow at the top of the try-scoring charts for the Super League this year. Danny Lima carries the battle forward again for Warrington. They're almost up to halfway. Now they're over halfway with Wood. Wainwright, good interpassing between those two. Coelov waits, finds Mike Wainwright again. Mari Fasibalou with a very good tackle.
I think they'll go for the high bomb here.
Well, it's with Bridge. Now he goes for the dink over the top. Goes in between Wellens and Gardner. Wellens picks up on his own goal line. Wall of white jerseys there.
Great chase. So it certainly works hard in the kicking department. Good option as well, you know. I expected to put on the high bomb because it's a bit breezy up there.
Great carry forward here by Gardner. And Darren Albert wants to leave St Helens on a high, and a high now would be for him a place in the grand final. Graham, one of the young breed. 4 tackles gone, 40 metres away from their own line. Back it goes to Jason Hooper. He's called a 40-20, the referee, but again it goes out on the full, this time off the boot of Hooper.
Well, anything Sean Long can do, Hooper can do just as bad.
Well, we talk about Warrington's improved kicking game. St Helens at the minute, I think Daniel Anderson will be pulling his hair out. And that will be one area that he really will want to address at half-time, because they're just turning the ball over too many times in midfield.
And for 2 kicks to go out on the full foot, attempted 40-20s inside the first 20 minutes, it must have been a strategy they practiced and spoke about before the game.
Great ball from Westwood to Farfili. Farfili dancing, and he gets away from 2, but there are reinforcements there.
This is where they need the link. Get it out of the area.
Paul Wood trying to get through. 12 metres away, plays the ball to Clark. Back it comes to Bridge. Here is Nathan Wood, and Wood taking on the Great Britain and St Helens captain Paul Sculthorpe.
Well, he was stepping there, Wood, but there was no one coming back on that second phase, coming back on the inside. You've got to have runners so he can pop it up.
Great hit by Wilkin, that was, on Logan Swan. Back it comes over the head of Wood to Gleeson. What would Martin Gleeson give for a try against his former employers tonight? Down he goes. That's the last tackle. Wainwright to Nathan Wood again. Oh, poor kick. Straight into the arms of Bennett. And that was the worst kick of the night for Warrington.
Well, they've been doing it so well, haven't they? Just digging the ball into the ground, it bouncing all over the place, applying all that pressure to the St Helens defence. And I really feel now that Warrington will be thinking, what do we have to do? There's a kick from Nathan Wood, not very good.
Cunningham to Fasavalou. That's good defence on show from Wood again. Played for Great Britain in the representative match against New Zealand A in 2003. Sculthorpe, great ball, Sean Long on his own at the moment, looking for support, and Brent Gross gets to him but can't bring him down before he gets the ball away. Wilkin, just short. What a try that would have been. Last tackle here for Saints, and a penalty.
He's in the bin. He's had enough. Professional foul.
John Clark is on his way to the sin bin.
I don't care, you obstructed him.
Obstruction.
You interfered.
Well, it's a big call. Remember, it was St Helens that gave away 3. They've taken the tap.
And it's a big ask now of Warrington to hold them out in this mood. Cunningham fires the pass wide to Hooper. Here now comes Willie Tallau. Offloads the ball despite the tackle. And Briggs does well. Wilkin. Here's Murray Fasavalou. He's tackled in front of the sticks.
Watch for Cunningham. Will he go on his own?
Cunningham to Sculthorpe. Finds Bennett. Bennett looking for his second. Halted just short of the line. They're all offside out the wide.
Oh, easy.
Matter. Great try, Graham.
Easy. No one at home.
Discipline, discipline, discipline. That's what Paul Cullen's been drilling into his team all week. And every time they concede a penalty, they seem to concede a try.
Not only that, make matters worse, puts them down to 12 men. Good defence to stop him. He was very close there. There's the penalty. See you later. He's had enough. But the point I was making, Eddie, look at that. There's no one at home. There was 4 men within the space of 5 metres. Not a soul. Good dummy running, don't get me wrong. But you can't be fooled to that extent. There was no one at home.
James Graham.
I'm going to stop it in a minute, so make sure you stop the sin bin.
Great try. A try here in March as well, by the way, in another outstanding performance off the bench. And Paul Sculthorpe lining up yet another kick at goal. 2 from 2 already. And this will surely be 3 from 3.
Concentration, fellas, that's 10 minutes. Delay me, Pete.
And I have just caught a little glimpse of John Clark on the sideline in the sin bin. He's cutting a disconsolate figure at the moment. As Sculthorpe lines up this kick. No problem for the St Helens captain. And Saints ahead by 14 points to 0. There is John Clark in the bin. Protested his innocence before leaving the field.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. No one at home. Graham, the simplest of tries. They worked it well. They kept moving the Warrington defence. And he has added an extra 4. He's a good worker.
And the game's still very early on in it, but I think you'd have to say really the class between these two sides is pretty evident. You know, Paul Cullen knows that his team aren't the finished article, but they've got a fair way of going yet to match the speed and superiority that Saints are playing this game.
And that will be a worrying factor for Paul Cullen, because they were brushed aside by Leeds here 2 weeks ago, and they've got Andrew Johns coming. One man, Phil, does not make a team, does he?
No, he doesn't. I thought against the Leeds side, they didn't do themselves any favour. They didn't play anywhere near the potential. They're playing possibly as well as they can here in this opening half an hour, but they were unable to penetrate a strong St Helens defence. Here's another chance, but they do need to register some points.
It's with Brent Gross. Now Danny Lima again.
Well, we saw there that Jason Hooper, I think, is struggling. He's not 100% in the standoff.
Here is Wood again. Good hands. Coelov just couldn't get away. And got a real clattering on the deck from Kieran Cunningham as well. Accidental knees in the back. Gross.
Now then, will they utilise a dummy runner here? Had a bit of confusion to this St Helens defence.
It's with Chris Bridge. And Bridge fires it wide to Gleeson. Stabs the kick in, but that's easy.
Feeble. That's the only word I can think of.
He's in touch though. That's good defence. It's head and feet to Warrington at the scrum. He wasn't tackled. The two of them picked him up, moved him towards the line, and no St Helens player came in to join in the fun. And that's why Gardner, there he was, not tackled, now he is. And they don't get to him before he goes over the line.
Yeah, you talk about intelligence, Eddie. Well, Steve O's exactly right. That was very intelligent play by the Wolves. They just hung off Adrian Gardner. They made him get up because he had to get up, or else it'd been a voluntary tackle. And then they clamped him, took it towards the sideline, and it's a bit of smart play that's won Warrington this field position.
Can they turn it into points? It's with Wood, and here is Brent Gross. And he skips on the inside. The ball is wild, and it's picked up by Wainwright.
But there again, there's no support. They're not working as a unit. They're going through a lot of hard work, but it's all one out. Then when they've done the hard, when they're trying to get it away, there's no one helping and running off the football.
It's with Wood, and he gives it to Coelov, who goes away from Cunningham. Gets the pass away to Nathan Wood. Thought about dumping it over the top to Graham Appo. Took the tackle instead. They have the sniff of a try, Warrington. They're 5 metres away with Wainwright. Looping pass to Ben Westwood. And Westwood running flat. Kicks towards the corner for Farfee, but it's picked up by another Kiwi, Willie Talau, and he does well to stay in the field of play.
Hard work. They always say we'll get you somewhere. Oh, Hooper's away!
He is, only as far as Gross, though. Speed from St Helens is mesmerising. Bennett, oh!
He was forward anyway.
Warrington have got it back.
Yep.
Long, if that would have found him, would have been over under the sticks again.
Without a doubt, there's no one at home. Brent Gross had come into the line. I think that would have been deemed forward anyway.
Gross again. Ever present at full-back for Warrington this year.
Well, here we are, 6.5 minutes to go to the half-time. And yet, Warrington, all the pressure, all the field position, they've got a 0 against them.
This is Bridge again. Flicks the ball back to the substitute, Paul Wood. We've talked about the attack from St Helens. The defence, magnificent also. Look at it.
Yeah, but when they're turning, when they're stepping, Eddie, you've got to have someone running. They're not confusing the defence at all. They're just relying on the kick and hoping they come up with the error.
Well, this is one for Farfili to chase. He does. And drags Gardner almost over the line, but he got the call from the referee to release the St Helens winger. This is Talau.
He's having a good game, you know, the referee, Ian Smith.
And he's got them for another penalty, Warrington. Well, what is the penalty count now? It's, well, 5-4 in St Helens' favour, that's all.
Yeah, but the penalties that Warrington are giving away, I just cannot believe. It's every time they're in they talk about the red zone in attack, and St Helens are just saying, well, we'll take it every time. Oh, they've gone for a tap.
With Hooper, that's confidence, isn't it?
Well, I know they've gone back a fair amount. We just saw a glimpse there of the Warrington coach, Paul Cullen. If we'd have gone a little bit earlier, I think we might have seen him headbutting the concrete.
5 minutes to half-time. That's Edmondson, who, again, we're talking about players to Australia, allegedly the target for the Sydney Roosters, Mark Edmondson. Oh, great ball! Jamie Lyon! He's got Wellens inside him, and Wellens goes past Appo, over the top it goes to Long, and Long. Now then, does he get it down in the corner before he hits the corner flag?
They struggle with it, but it's a try, don't worry.
Yes, Ian Smith says it is, doesn't have to refer it to the video referee. They were queuing up to score that, and Long in the end took his tally for the season to 11 tries.
Well, Warrington yet again from a good commanding position. The flick out wide, they've allowed St Helens. It was beautiful work, wasn't it, between the centre and the wingman, back on the inside. Pretty casual this, but Long knew he had it, and so did the official. Didn't have to go to the video referee, but this is superb play. Back on the inside. No, my job's not finished. That's why they are intelligent these days. They don't hang around for a rest. They've got a support. We talk about the support on the St Helens side. Where is it on the Warrington Wolves outfit? It's not there, and the faces say it all.
Well, we've seen some glum faces in the past fortnight here at this stadium, belonging to Warrington supporters. They were brushed aside by Leeds, and they are being systematically dismantled at the moment by St Helens. And these matches are beamed down to Australia, of course, by our colleagues on Fox Sports. I wonder if Andrew Johns is watching this and what he might be thinking right now.
Well, the expectations are pretty high on him before he lands.
Well, we haven't put much pressure on him, have we?
No, he hasn't had much of a mention in the build-up to tonight's game. I think what he's seen, though, is probably one of the best sides, if not the best side in this country at the moment in St Helens, playing the best half of football defensively anyway in particular. And then when they've had a chance to strike, the speed and efficiency is so ruthless.
Sculthorpe here lining up another kick, the most difficult of the night he's had, but in this mood you never know. Misses with that one, but only just. 18-0 to the Saints as we approach half-time. Steve-O, back to the time when players weren't intelligent. You went off to Australia to join one of the top clubs, you thought, in Penrith. What happened when you got there?
They hated me.
And they just had a pretty convincing result, haven't they?
They certainly had a convincing result, and I just feel that if you're going to do something, then don't go just for part of the season. Go down, make your mind up. If you're going to go down there, live down there. Try to become an Australian. I say try. They won't allow you.
Well, Steve-O won't tell you he's reluctant, but I think I'm right in saying that when he went down and got off the plane, he found out that Penrith had lost by 70 points to 7.
Actually, it was on the Wednesday. It was the day after it actually signed the contract, and I thought it was a typo error. Rang down to London and they said, oh, imagine playing for a side that gets battered like that.
And it was Manly, by the way, who beat them 70 points to 7 on that occasion. I wonder if the fax has got lost to Andrew Johns. St Helens ending the first half as they began it, in control. Long's kick will see to that.
The one thing that Andrew Johns will bring to this side is the fact that he will be saying, look, when I hold the ball up, I don't want you running flat. I want you to hang back 2-3 meters. You need quality players. Look at the way that Paul Cook just took St Helens apart with just simple holding the ball back. Were they flat hull? No. They were coming on the second phase, giving themselves a chance.
Well, what would Warrington give for a try just before half-time? It would reignite their supporters. They get the penalty. That levels it up in the penalty count. It's 5 apiece.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Sculthorpe were just all over the fella. The business of the tackle had been done.
The Warrington supporters and the Warrington players will say, well, what constitutes a professional foul at one end and not on the other? I know that Saints were on the try line.
Well, I was screaming about it. St Helens, they'd given away 3. He didn't even talk to the captain.
This is Bridge for Warrington. Logan Swan. The ball to Danny Lima from John Clark, and he gets the ball back, does the hooker, but Sculthorpe's all over him. 30 seconds remaining, 3 tackles remaining. This is Wood. Paul Wood, and St Helens hauling down Nathan Wood and Chris Bridge. Can't get the ball away, no one to pass to be fair.
Well, they've all gone, they've all disappeared, they're all so flat. They may as well go and shake hands with the fans in the stand.
Nathan Wood, chip over the top. It's easy for Eddie Gardner.
And that'll do us.
Might look easy from here, Eddie. I don't think that would be easy if you were Eddie Gardner still underneath that.
Well, Paul Cullen, the headlines have all been about off-the-field activity this week and the signing of the best player in the world, but they are up against one of the best club sides in the world here tonight in the shape of the Saints from Knowsley Road, and that has been as comprehensive a destruction of a team in the first half as we've seen for some time. St Helens lead by 18 points to 0.
Half-time at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, the home of the Warrington Wolves. They've only lost here twice this season. They're staring down the barrels of a third defeat because Saints are ahead by 18 points to 0. And I think the big word in Paul Cullen's dictionary at the moment will be disappointing. He will be so disappointed that his team have not performed. Another D word is discipline, and every time they've conceded a penalty, which is something I think he's drummed into them since they last played St Helens here, every time they've conceded a penalty, Saints have scored a try. Paul Cullen doesn't look a happy bunny, does he? Daniel Anderson's men have bounced back remarkably after the setback of losing to Hull in the semi-final. They've obviously taken that defeat pretty hard, and well, his team have done him proud. They have kept Warrington to 0 on their scoreboard, and they've got 18 points of their own. They're a great side, aren't they, St Helens, in this sort of mood? They're fantastic to watch, and Warrington in the first half had no answer to them. Now then, John Keir was in the cauldron of a semi-final last weekend, and his team won convincingly, won easily against St Helens. I said that Saints are arguably one of the best club sides in the world. If you've beaten them 34-8, how good's your team then?
They're okay, aren't they? They're okay, yeah. Things are looking good. So, but let's look at St Helens today, Eddie. I think defensively they've been absolutely superb. You know, we can talk about other aspects of play, but defensively they really have put their hands up tonight, and they really have worked very, very hard for each other. And Warrington's thrown a lot at them. They've had lots of field position, lots of possession, but they've come away with nothing, and that's down to Saints' great defence.
And I think Steve had a fair point. They threatened, they pressurised, they pushed, they asked a couple of questions, but really, they didn't have any idea of how to get over the line.
Well, I think they showed enterprise, but perhaps execution was a little off. But I again, I put that down to the pressure that St Helens put on the Warrington attackers. They were really in the face. And then the other telling factor of the first half, Eddie, has been that they've had St Helens under pressure, and then as soon as Saints have got the ball, they give them a soft penalty, and it's been late in the tackle count, in crucial positions. It's piggybacked St Helens out, and as soon as St Helens have got field position, they've scored.
You can't do that against St Helens because, as Phil was saying during the first half commentary, they play the ball with such speed. They play the game with such speed. Quickness of thought, quickness of action, bang, you're 18-0 down half-time.
I think their strike force is probably the most potent in the entire league, isn't it? And I think that the defeat in the Cup last week has probably just motivated them now here, particularly in that first half. The defence on their own line was outstanding, and then when they had an opportunity, the transition from defence, which they threw a pretty lot of, into attack, well, it was phenomenal, and it was too quick for Warrington to be able to handle. So at the moment you can just see the gulf between the class of the two sets of players.
It's disappointing from a neutral's point of view, isn't it? It is disappointing that Warrington cannot get over the line against these top sides.
It is disappointing, yes, but that's the fact of the sport at the moment. That's currently where Warrington are, and that's at St Helens at the best, how well they're able to play. And if St Helens can manage to reproduce that performance in the second half and then the remainder of this season, well, they'll go all the way, I think, to a grand final.
We talked a lot in the pre-match build-up about Andrew Johns, the fact that he's due here in a month. Steve-O, if Andrew Johns was here tonight, could he turn this round?
I think he'd rip up his contract, to be fair, from what he's seen. It has not been a very good performance. You know, midway through that first half, I said that these modern-day players, they're intelligent. Do you know something? The Wolves proved me wrong with the last 20 minutes because they had no idea. Saints had beautiful run on the angle by Cunningham, Bassett back on the inside to Long, and Bennett in for the try. That was the only opportunity that Saints had, and they took it. Again, they took it with Long on the great run. And from this, it came from the sin bin with Clark. They are all over the place. Look at the defence there. They're struggling to get back. This is 10 minutes. See you later. I've had enough. It confused me. I thought he had a good game, Ian Smith. And look, anybody at home? No. Graham in for the try. And you could see the dejected look on the players. Again, a silly penalty. Whereabouts? Way down in the St. Helens red zone. But this is superb. Watch the interchange here. Lyon to Albert. Did he rest Lyon? No. He came round on the arc, back on the inside. Okay, they nearly missed it. Wellens over the top. Long knew was in at the corner. And I'm afraid that Warrington have a lot of work to do. I mentioned before the kickoff in regards to maybe the fact that Andrew Johns is on his way to this country, that it could have some adverse effect in regards to team spirit. I think it has, because we didn't see much of that from the Warrington Wolves, and Paul Cullen has got a very, very hard job trying to lift his side.
But Andrew Johns at this moment is ripping his contract up. You never let us down, do you?
You asked me a question and I'll give you an honest answer. I mean, it's pretty the same, you know. I mean, I went to Penrith and I just found out the day after I'd signed they lost 70 points to 7. I wasn't too chuffed myself.
You never ripped your contract up, though, I bet. Anyway, we've got the second half to come, and Warrington have got a lot to do to get back into this match. They trailed by 18 points to 0. We're all looking for a contract to rip up that has Stevenson's name on it. We've got the second half coming up here. Saints ahead 18-0.
Saints are ahead by 18 points to 0. What can Warrington do in the second half? Maybe assistant coach Mike Forshaw can tell us.
Well, Mike, that scoreboard doesn't really tell the story of the amount of pressure that Warrington had there, does it?
That's right, Bill. We've had the ball in their half a hell of a lot. We just can't get over the stripe. You know, we're creating space, but we've not got players pushing through the hole, and it's a bit disappointing.
Is that a confidence thing? Get to the final third and it's just not there?
I think it's probably more a communicational thing. You know, we want to, you know, the game of rugby league, you've got to push through holes, and at the moment we're kind of just holding back and not pushing through in numbers.
But the game's not beyond you, is it?
Well, we're 3 scores behind. You know, we've got to have a massive improvement, and you know, I think one thing we've got to do is stop the St. Helens winning the play the ball route. You know, they gain very good landing position with the back three, the 2 wingers, and we're struggling off the back of it.
Thanks, Mike.
Cheers, Bill.
Well, Warrington will be disappointed with that first half, but it is their best home record in 10 Super League seasons so far. Only Leeds and Saints have won here in 2005. But will it be Saints twice and Leeds by the end of tonight? We shall see. It's an obvious thing to say, but Warrington have to score early in this second half.
Well, they've got to do something to build their confidence. You know, it's a couple of quick, sharp breaks early in this match just put a little bit of doubt in the St. Helens defence. Warrington have not asked any question. That's what they've got to do.
Wigan a big lead at half-time against the Salford City Reds, so they will be breathing down the necks of London Broncos for 6th spot, and of course London at Hull on Sunday evening with us on Sky Sports. And of course, from a Hull point of view, and John Keir is here with us tonight, this scoreline at the moment must seem like manna from heaven, I would think. The kick to the in-goal area has to be fielded by Welland, but he does so well to get the ball back over the whitewash.
Quick thinking there, wasn't it? He could see that the defence was coming to him, and he knew there was only one barrier allowed on the football field, and that was the goalpost. Great effort.
Wellens again, and of course sadness in the game that Chris Radlinski is out for the rest of the campaign and will not feature in the Tri-Nations, but rest assured Paul Wellens will. That was Mark Edmondson's run for Saints. Here is James Roby. Great ball out the back door to Edmondson. On it goes to James Graham. Halted by John Clark, 10 metres inside his own half on the last. Long with the kick. He was outside the 40-metre mark. Farfili can pick it up eventually. Look at the chase. Look at the chase. Graham Appo it was, I beg your pardon. Graham Appo. But look at the chase from the St. Helens attackers.
Well, when you're leading 18-0, you've certainly got plenty of confidence. And Daniel Anderson, there have been a lot of soul-searching throughout the week in the training camp. They've produced some very, very good, solid football. And the thing that perhaps even Paul Cullen, the Warrington coach, is a bit wary about is that Warrington nearly had all the possession in that first 40, and the rugby league game always seems to just change it around, Phil Clark.
Yeah, that's right. I was just going to ask John Keir, is it playing in bursts of speed really that's the key to winning these big games? We saw the speed that Lyon and Albert put onto that chase, the speed that St Helens have applied when they've been in possessions and they've sensed the try. Is he just picking your moment and then lifting the speed?
I think that's a big call, is that, Phil, and I think it's exactly right. And that right-hand chase of St Helens, it's renowned as one. It really does set a benchmark for them with Lyon and Albert tearing through the holes, and it puts you under a great deal of pressure. And you know St Helens are on song when they're chasing so well.
This is Jason Hooper now for the Saints. Halted by Chris Bridges' tackle. Roby was the dummy half, gives it to Graham.
I think my foreshore certainly hit it right on the head in regards to the fact that it's St Helens are controlling the dummy half position. They're making good ground forward.
Oh, that's charged down, it's play on, and Appo has to be quick, and is for Warrington. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it under pressure. It's play on, and Appo stays down.
But he did well there, the official. Could see that the winger was in some form of difficulty.
But just as Phil said, Steve, out there, it was the conversion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was an incident happened there. It didn't go to plan for St Helens, but look how quickly they reacted. First of all, to pressure the guy picking the ball up, and then the first man to react to the loose ball was Paul Sculthorpe. Tremendous conversion there.
Appo's head is actually in pretty hard contact with the pitch here at Warrington, which is quite solid. Not much rain, of course, for a wee while. And Paul Sculthorpe, no fault in that whatsoever.
Oh, none whatsoever, you're right. It's, well, the legs are moving and the neck.
But Warrington have got more trouble, Steve-O, I'm hearing. Let's get down to Bill.
Yeah, just a spate of problems for the moment for the physio department, because Danny Lima is also off the field. We saw him come off just a few minutes into the second half. He's dislocated a finger, and I think that's him just in the medical room. I think he's had that finger reset and is probably going to come out and resume for the Wolves. But Graham Appo looks very groggy at the moment.
Mark Gleeson is on the sideline as well, waiting his chance to get into this match as Graham Appo. Looks like he's okay.
Well, he's the type of player that Paul Cullen realises can change their game.
He's very concerned, the Warrington coach.
He's every right to. He's very, very groggy, but the most important factor is that he is walking, moving arms and the legs, which is important.
Paul Noon is the man who's coming on to replace him. Comes on for Graham Appo. I think I'm right in saying we haven't yet seen Mark Gleeson on the field, and he can, as you're right, Steve-O, you say, he can change the course of a match.
Well, he's the type of player that will run at the defence, create a little bit of confusion, but it's no good sending him out there unless there's got a good support play and runners.
Oh, the way that they're cutting this Warrington defence to shreds. That's Willie Tallow. They've still got 3 tackles left. They're 2 metres away from the line. It's with Sean Long. Into the arms of Graham. Wide it goes to Sculthorpe. Nathan Wood gets to him and brings him down eventually.
Great work from the halfback, Wood. It had to be as well. Sculthorpe could have offloaded there. It would have been a try for sure.
This is Graham, and he is picked up and dropped 10 metres from the line on the last. Roby waits at dummy half, and he gets it to line. The kick towards the in-goal area is well fielded by Toa Koilov.
Great positioning there. New Zealander knew exactly what was happening.
Great appeals from the terraces for an offside decision against St Helens. Not coming. Unbeaten in their last 7 visits to Warrington are St Helens. Here is Lightfall.
Well, that's 5 on the trot, that it's been 1 out. Now they'll go for the kick. Certainly not what you could classify as thrilling rugby league football from Warrington at the moment.
Good kick, though. The chase
is good.
Is better, certainly. Roby waits again. This is Paul Wellens.
I'm sure Paul Cullen will have spoken about the fact that if they can get a try, Eddie, in theory, St Helens should tire in the second half. because of all the defensive work they've had to do, and obviously the draining Challenge Cup semi-final last week. So you can tell the side are living on that hope at the moment, just fishing here for a mistake from St Helens to give them an opportunity to get back in the match.
Yes, they are looking for the opportunity, but the thing they've got to do is they've got to score a try, and that does not look like coming so far tonight. This is Wellens.
Been solid, hasn't he? Oh, Wellens, very, very good.
Sounds off. Keep coming, Mike. Right, you're
Very
on.
rarely you see him have a bad game, Eddie. That's a neat little chip.
It's a
stand
great
up.
dink. Oh,
what a take.
brilliantly taken by Gross. How on earth did he get down to that?
Superb stuff.
Well, that should lift Warrington. This is Wainwright. And here is Farfili.
Now they know who's going to take charge out there.
Light ball. Gets the ball away to Gross, who started this.
Well, he's the man most likely. Put the points on the board.
Nathan Wood. Logan Swan. Over the top, great ball. Gleeson! Gleeson against his former club at long last. Martin Gleeson for Warrington.
Fully deserved. They tested their arm, kept it alive, and for once, and only once, the support play was there. They're happy, and so are the players out on the park. They know that first 40 minutes was something to forget.
Well, how on earth did Brent Gross field the kick?
Beautiful, wasn't it? Never mind the Ashes in cricket. Look at that. Come to daddy. Not content with the fact that he's just scooped up the football. What an offload there. Logan Swan set it up. Gleeson. That's the first try against his old club as far as I can work out. And he will enjoy that. And the crowd here have gone absolutely bananas. Here we go, look. Looking for work all the time. That was good support play, good offload. He knew he was there. Wellens could do nothing about that. Are we in for a game?
Well, it's just what the doctor ordered for us neutrals. And Chris Bridge here to try and add the extras. Yeah, good kick. 18 points to 6. Warrington have to score first in the second half. They have.
Quite amazing. But full credit to them. The first real opportunity that they kept it alive. And it'll certainly lift their spirits. Who knows? Did Andrew Johns get on the phone at half-time?
Well, remember what St Helens did to Warrington here earlier in the season. They fought back and they pinched the win.
So what are you predicting, Eddie? A Warrington drop goal in the last minute?
Wouldn't it be nice? Brent Gross got his hands to that. Mark Gleeson is on. Lightball will drive it forward. And here's Mark Hilton for Warrington. Now then, suddenly the Warrington fans find their voice. They've been a little quiet.
It's a good move as well by Paul Cullen to put on the like of Mark Gleeson. We've been asking for it. There he is at dummy half. He'll pose a few problems for them. Now they've got to just use a little bit of composure here, Warrington.
Wood with a big kick downfield, and it finds the field. And Darren Albert has picked it up. The chase is a lot more enthusiastic now.
Well, the enthusiasm levels, Eddie, they've really picked up from the Warrington Wolves, and it's all started with that great take by Brent Gross. That may well be the game-changing piece of play.
We shall see. Salford coming back against Wigan at the JJB Stadium. Here at the Halliwell Jones, it's former Warrington favourite, though you wouldn't believe it, to hear the boos ringing round. Nick Fozzard, the quick play of the ball, Sculthorpe, wide it goes. Jamie Lyon. Jamie Lyon halted on that far side. Nathan Wood with the tackle. This is the last for Saints. There's Long. Big hoof downfield. Farfili's underneath this.
It's a poor kick. Both wingers were in a very good position. A little bit casual there from Sean Long. We talk about this Warrington outfit sort of asking and posing a few questions. We haven't seen much of Sean Long doing that as well.
Mark Gleeson is the dummy half. Mark Hilton, wide to Westwood. He's a 100% all-action trier, is Ben Westwood. Try up every other game for Warrington. It was 1 in 4 during his time at Wakefield.
You just get the impression now that Warrington are beginning to just crack this very solid Saints defence. A few of them just bouncing off the ball carrier.
Well, fatigue might be a factor. Bridge with the kick over the top. Into the arms, though, of Darren Albert. Coelov grabs him by the collar, and with help on that far side from Paul Noon.
I must say, Toa Coelov has really worked hard in defence. And that's where to lift them. Mark Hilton putting on the big shots.
Here's Long. Back it goes to Wellens.
They've lost a bit of the zip, the Saints.
Anderson will try and provide it.
No, I think get a good field position, St. Helens. Got to make sure that the kick is good. Hasn't been good so far.
And that's not another good one from Long. It's gobbled up by Brent Gross.
Well, Daniel Anderson has to get the message out. Say, Sean Long, stop having the kicking game. Give it to someone else.
That's a great return, Eddie, from Warrington there to shift the ball from the right-hand side where they received it over to the left, which made the St. Helens defence do so much work, and now concede a penalty on the back of it.
And Darren Albert the guilty party, but Brent Gross has been involved in just about everything that's been good about Warrington in this second half.
Yeah, they've really upped the tempo, Eddie, Warrington, at this crucial stage, and they're playing the game with speed now. They're winning the floor and playing the ball quickly, and it's St. Helens really under the cosh.
Another try, and it'll be a real match on. This is Wainwright.
Well, Cullen must have given them a real round of the kitchens in the changing room.
Mark Gleeson dancing in front of the St. Helens defence, but halted by Roby's tackle. John Clark, the dummy half. Here is Chris Bridge. Bridge back to Martin Gleeson. Gleeson with a long ball to Nathan Wood. Just lost his footing at the vital moment. Wainwright. It's Likevall. It's wide to Coelov. And they're in again. Courtesy of Paul Noon. Paul Noon for Warrington. And suddenly there's a little bit of belief around this stadium. Can Warrington come back the way that Saints have come back twice against them this year? Well, they have got the start they wanted.
They certainly have, and they can look for the fullback, Brent Gross. He has been involved in everything. Talking about one player that lifts them through. Look at that, went right across the face. But he's back in there, he wants to support. Remember what I was saying in the first half. No support, no dummy runners, no teamwork. This is what's on show now. Little shimmy, that is good stuff. Toa Coelov got through a lot of work in defence, and that was a beautiful offload. Albert got caught out there, and it's not surprising because the kicking game from Warrington, they've kicked every time to Darren Albert. He's had to do so much work in the second half. He's wondering to himself, is there anybody on my side that's going to help me?
He has missed the kick though, Chris Bridge, but Paul Noon's try makes it 18 points to 10, and Brent Gross, a couple of little moments of inspiration from him have lifted the Warrington Wolves.
Well, the big question now is about St. Helens' character here now. It was dented last week. The reputation, as the coach Daniel Anderson said, about pretty saddened bodies in that change room after the match. What sort of character have they got now? What sort of energy have they got left after everything they had to do in the first half?
Well, we mentioned, Phil, in regards to that normally within a game of rugby league football, things seem to turn around. Obviously on the scoreboard it has, but generally Warrington had all field position, most of the possession in the first 40, and yet they're having the same.
There's a great offload there by Wainwright to Nathan Wood.
We've seen St. Helens very happy, very comfortable in coming from behind. Here's a different test for them now. A massive support here, vocal one behind the Warrington Wolves. Can they lift them, and what sort of pressure is St. Helens under?
John Clark. Good tackle though. Great tackle there by young James Roby. Hilton.
Now then, will they utilise a link, or will they go yet again to a kick to Albert?
Well, it's with Chris Bridge. They're chancing their arm. They found Martin Gleeson. Gleeson with the kick. Out
strong.
on the full.
Good pressure, but at least they're lifting the spirits. The Warrington fans, they were totally confused in the first half, and now they've found their voice, and rightly so. The team is now starting to play good, solid rugby league football.
Well, they have scrambled victories this year, Warrington, when all seemed lost. Will this be another 18-10 St Helens lead? Long, long way to go in this match. And remember, Warrington, they've had a full fortnight off.
Yeah, that will obviously be to their advantage. But the one other advantage that Warrington have done in the second half that they did so often in that first 40 minutes, they were giving away silly penalties. They're not doing that now. They're a lot more disciplined.
Not yet. Sculthorpe with the kick down the line. Job for Westwood, for Gross to do here. But he does it competently, as he has done all year.
Again, we see that wonderful chase from the right-hand side.
Oh, Anderson put a shoulder in on Farfili then, and Wilkin finished him off. Mark Gleeson now.
Again, Gleeson asking the question, quick play the ball. That's where they'll get Saints.
This is brother Martin. And Mark Gleeson. Another little run, but that's the last tackle. Back it goes to Nathan Wood. The kick right down the middle and straight into the arms of Darren Albert.
More work for the winger.
But when he gets going, Albert, he is so difficult to stop. He's found Gardner. Farfili just gets to him in time. Welland. Here is Long. Now it's Wilkin. St Helens trying to snap back and just snuff out this Warrington revival with Fozar, with Long. Oh, just a moment of indecision from Long.
Well, he was looking for the runner. There was nobody there.
Wellens takes tackle number 3. Sculthorpe.
Now then, will we see a run from Cunningham? We haven't seen one yet in the second half.
Well, there he is at dummy half. No, it's back to Sean Long, who gives it to Hooper. It bounces off Hooper's chest, and here's Brent Gross again.
Well, it's a carbon copy of what Warrington were doing in the first half, and now St Helens are trying to do it. It was an impossible offload there from Sean Long. No quality involved in that at all.
Mark Gleeson.
Well, they'd have to back themselves now, Warrington.
Logan Swan.
Just coming up to the 3-quarter mark, in the final quarter. You get the impression that St Helens, they're going to push very, very hard, because I think they'll run out of steam. They'll be pushing hard to get at least another 6 points on the board, and then maybe hang on. I think they'll be left with no option.
Nathan Wood with a good kick over the top to turn Darren Albert around, and Nathan Wood leading the charge. They're all onside, that means. Oh, great ball though from Albert to Wellens. Here come the Saints then, on the counter with Wellens. Aidy Gardner is there. Oh, it's Willie Tallow. Willie Tallow to Gardner. Gardner, and Gleeson has missed him, and Gardner scores a magnificent St Helens try. Wonderful try from one end of the field to the other.
St Helens at their best. And it all came about from what a tactic has done. Darren Albert must be completely out on his feet. He has taken this ball time and time again. I was just going to make the point. Remember last year's grand final? Leeds just kept kicking to one corner all the time. Vinocola was out on his feet, but what about the confidence there? Only the team with a name like St Helens are confident enough to do this. Should have got to him. Gleeson, take nothing away. I think Daniel Anderson might say, excuse me, Mr. Gardner, that a post you could go under. Maybe he was a little bit pleased that they've got there. Great work, Willie Tallow. Good fend. Then he just lost the marbles. Sean Long sits under the post. I'm not caring, I want the 4.
Well, if there was a prize for try of the season in the Engage Super League, and it's something somebody might think about one of these days. We might just have seen it.
I think that was a personal best, wasn't it? They were pushed right to the limit. It was almost the 5-10 minutes before that, the intensity really that was applied to St Helens. They worked very hard in defence to counter-attack what Warrington threw at them. But that was a superb try. Really, I think as we enter this final few weeks of the season, Steve-O, and we get to the playoffs, it's going to rise the level, and that's the sort of standard that will have to be met.
Well, Eddie was posing the question, could Saints bounce back, show their class? Yes.
And Sculthorpe makes it the perfect response. It's 24 points to 10 in St Helens' favour. The Saints fans will be wondering where that sort of form was last week. John Keir, that was a magnificent try.
It was an absolutely sensational try, wasn't it? But it just goes to show, Eddie, it's not just about the kick execution, it's about the chase as well. And it was a fractured line that went up on the chase. Darren Albert saw that, linked with Paul Wellens, and then the rest was just sensational. And 4 out of the 5 St Helens three-quarters involved in that try. An absolute classic.
John, you made the point there with the kick and chase. They've been kicking to Albert all the second half. He's tired, but they forgot one basic principle. You've got to move up together. They went onto the left-hand side and left the opening right down the middle.
Exactly right. They had a real good 6-7 man chase down the left, but Albert spotted that, and he just got onto the edge of it, and that's what caused the gap, and they finished it as they usually do.
And have they just committed Harry Carey again here by conceding that penalty by Ben Westwood?
Well, I was just praising them for not giving away those silly penalties, and then frustration has come back into their game.
Hazard takes the tackle.
They'll throw everything but the kitchen sink now, will Saints.
Cunningham to Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe slits the net, and Sculthorpe...
Oh, Westwood pinched it.
He did, because Wilkin was over. And that's a penalty by Willie Tyler.
It was try time. Westwood said, I've got something to do with this. Should have been penalised, never mind the flop. It was a high one. And Mr. Anderson is a little bit concerned. Well, that was great work, though, by Paul Sculthorpe, wasn't it? Back to his best. Fending people off, looking for the offload, which came. And the trouble is, he passed to the wrong man.
It was could be a blow for Warrington, too. You know, Westwood is involved in that. He has been hurt in that little passage of play. Here is Mark Hilton.
I think Ben Westwood had been to Steve-O's education school for intelligent rugby league players, Eddie, because he got between the man who made the break, Paul Sculthorpe, and the support player. Real clever play that diffused the situation.
I'm sorry, John, but you're invited. You can't just walk in.
Here is Mark Gleeson, gets over halfway, finds John Clark. John Clark, oh, the pass to ground. Mark Gleeson tidies up, but great defence from Wilkin. They're asking for the penalty, Warrington, not coming. Nathan Wood dabs it upfield. Wellens cleans up for Warrington. Lena's after him, missed. Wainwright missed. Gross doesn't.
Back it up left.
Here's Fozzard. Fozzard tackled by Mark Gleeson and Gross on halfway. Plays it to Cunningham. Cunningham to Wilkin.
They're working again from that dummy half position. Cunningham is teasing them.
Sculthorpe 2. They get to him eventually.
Now Saints should be just hoping to get another set of 6. A little bit confusing there, but they want to make it a little dab into the in-goal area.
Last tackle here for Saints. Sean Long, kick to the corner, looking for Darren Albert. The ball was played by St Helens' hand, and Wainwright tidies up.
Good job that Fozzard and the big fella Anderson got to him.
Lima.
Boy, there's been some great atmosphere. That's a wonderful thing about this new stadium. You're so close to the action. You'd think there was about 120,000 in it.
Farfili goes round Gardner. Farfili! All of St Helens are after it, and Farfili is tackled by Wellens.
Great position by the fullback. It had to be Farfili. Very strong.
Gleeson. Loop pass.
They got the overlap.
Clark to Lima. And Lima trundling his way to the line. Offside. St Helens caught offside. Referee allowed them to play on.
It's got to be a tap. Got to force it.
Played the advantage, Mr. Smith, then. And here they come. Warrington on the back of this possession. Can they get something with Nathan Wood?
Movement!
Oh, they're struggling to get their line sorted out, Saints.
Hilton on the charge. Halted by Wellens.
Got a bit light out on this right-hand side.
And Wood brings it this way with Mark Gleeson. Further wide to Chris Bridge.
That was a mile forward. Not only that, couldn't take it. Not surprised either. But what a wonderful break from this fella. Henry Farfili just stood up his opposite number, trying to get away from it. He had to leave forwards. Just did in and out. Left Gardner for dead. Bang! Back on the inside. But you don't fool this fella. Remember a couple of weeks ago when he was fooled? I spoke to Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach, and I said, well, it's very rare you see that. It was a bad miss, remember, from Wellens, and he said, that'll be his last.
Heading back, John. 2 hands.
Hooper feeds the scrum, and Sculthorpe peels away from the base.
Release it.
Quick play the ball. Cunningham. They found an extra level. Roby, Lyon, Albert. Another missed tackle, but in the end they get him.
2 all the way.
Lyon again. Long. Hooper. They have got second breath. Cunningham. Fasavalou. Looking to disentangle his arms and get the pass away, which he does. And Cunningham just manages to retain possession for the Saints. Here they come again. This is Roby. Last tackle here.
Nothing. Will he go high again?
Well, the pass is high, but it went to Hooper. Here is Long. And the kick ricochets and goes dead.
Ball played the man. Good refereeing there. Sending down the orders, Daniel Anderson. He knows even that 24-10, they cannot rest. The crowd are really getting behind the Wolves.
The one good thing about the second half, Phil, it's a contest.
Oh, it is. There's certain great comeback here from Warrington, and they've really pushed St Helens to go all the way. But maybe there's the difference really on the 20-metre restart. Just look how St Helens have controlled those 2 early play the balls. Vital really in how that set was going to go. Controlled Danny Lima, he put Mark Gleeson on his back, and all of a sudden there, look, Warrington camped inside their own half the count already gone.
Here's Lima again. He'll try and get a bit more ground upfield. Nearly gets them to halfway. Fasavalou is in there. So too Mike Bennett. It's Chris Bridge kicking early, turning Eddie Gardner around.
They went on the 4th, and how good is the chase? Well, there's 3 there. It's good, but yet again, Warrington on the left-hand side, leaving it a little bit loose.
This is Wellens for Saints.
It's okay having 3 going into the corner, but you've got to make sure you patch up that central division.
Roby, what a young talent this is. Maybe, just maybe, the reason why Mr. Long might be allowed to go to the Southern Hemisphere. This is Cunningham.
Well, I've stopped wondering about this game, Eddie.
Hooper, oh, he nearly dropped that. Give it to Wilkin. John Wilkin, he was left out of Daniel Anderson's first match in charge, but he's recently secured a new 3-year deal at Knowsley Road.
That's a better kick.
That's a great kick.
That's what they've been looking for quite some time.
Look at the chase.
And have a guess who's there. Ooh, that was a bit dodgy. Rose slipped as we're going into dummy half there. Oh, that's good defence.
Fantastic defence from St Helens, this. 3 tackles gone, 2 metres made. Likely to try and make a couple more.
Well, it's getting to that point now where Warrington, they've got to just try something different. Chip over the top, anything. They know that the time is running out.
Well, they've tried something different there. Martin Gleeson released the ball. Big hit by Cunningham on Bridge.
Play on.
Well, he lost the ball is the referee's version of that. There were 2 men in the tackle for Saints, but the referee said he just lost it. Cunningham, Fasavalou, Wilkin, and Wilkin goes up the middle, and he's got support from Wellens. Brilliant. Brilliant try from questions about this team. Do they have the stamina? Do they have the appetite? They certainly have the skill. They certainly have the stamina. They certainly want to get to Old Trafford now that the Challenge Cup's been snatched from them.
You apply the pressure, the kick into the corner, and you force the errors. Look at this, they've gone into it, slipping through, not alert, but look at the defence, swarmed all over him. This is the incident. He tries to offload, this is good refereeing, finished it up in the stomach of Kieran Cunningham, and then he offloads again. Super stuff. Back on the inside, they've kept it alive. John Wilkin showed the strength. Difference between the two sides. Plain and simple support play. Men there. What about the positioning by Paul Wellens? He came from one side, came on the angle because he knew that the offload would come with a right hand.
Well, he got a try here last season. He's got a try here tonight, Paul Wellens. He is the Great Britain incumbent. And sad though it is that Chris Radlinski is injured and out for the rest of the season, it would have been a harsh call to take the Great Britain jersey off that fella.
It certainly would. He's an outstanding player with an outstanding attitude, really, to life and the game. And I think that's part of the reason why St Helens are, well, going to go away this game so comfortably. Really, there were two things that could happen after they were knocked out of the cup. They could limp through disappointingly through the rest of the year, or they could come back here bigger, better than ever. And that's exactly what they've been tonight. I don't think I've ever seen a more determined St Helens performance than what I've seen here tonight.
Sculthorpe to add the extras. 28-10 and now 30 points to 10. Warrington have made it a show in the second half.
Look at this. You see how Wilkin is fending off for the left. Wellens knows that he's carrying the ball in the right, so therefore it's obvious he's going to offload that way. Sheer poetry.
Great try, and Warrington offside from the kickoff. They've all got to be behind the line until the ball is kicked, and they were all ahead of Chris Bridges' kickoff, according to the referee.
Well, there was one
over on the
far field.
Well, Eddie, we spoke about Brent Gross's contribution, how he lifted Warrington. I think it's been Paul Wellens' contribution that's finally secured the game for St Helens. First of all, he's involved in that tremendous, breathtaking try of Eddie Gardner's with Darren Albert earlier. And then that piece of play there, very intelligent support play, and really it's clinched the game for him. He's been superb.
Cunningham, and Wellens again. Wellens again.
Release it, John.
John Clark with the tackle. This is Cunningham. Stabs to the in-goal area. Gross will have to run it.
Oh, that was a bit dangerous. Still in play.
Through
the referee will have a look at this.
The advertising barrier.
Come here. We don't need that. I know in the excitement of it. Neat kick though from Cunningham. And it's getting very warm. The handbags have appeared.
I'll tell you what, just calm down, calm.
Calm down, says Ian Smith, as he shouts at the players. Might be a good idea, really few so
take him dangerous tackle.
Now then, I wonder what his decision would be, because it should be a goal line dropout, or is it going to be a penalty?
That was dangerous.
Run! So Brett. Yes, if he ran in like wax on one, it'd be a penalty. No, when the ball's dead, we have to have a goal line dropout. Murray, he's very, very careful. Right. The ball's dead.
The ball's dead,
still be careful.
Well, Steve, he can still be penalised after the ball is dead for other incidents.
Goal line dropout.
According to the official, no.
You can be sent off at half-time.
Yes. As soon as you leave your dressing room, you are under the
It's on report,
of
by the way.
The officials, you're right.
The incident's on report.
No, I remember going back, Nathan Wood, didn't he go down the same tunnel?
Yes, he did, voluntarily, and was looking for a hamburger to come back on with to celebrate a try he scored last year.
Ben, discipline.
Well, it suddenly got a bit tasty. Edmondson.
Release it!
7.5 minutes to go.
And when you lose your cool, your defence can just fall apart as well.
Sculthorpe, Wellens. How did Lyon hang on to that? Albert. Oh, how did he hang on to his head?
It's got to be a penalty. Well, Milner scored a try.
It's a penalty, you know, but I put that down to the earlier incident. Yeah, I really do. That's really brought this to a boiling point.
Well, you just lose your marbles, and you know that the game has gone. You've got no chance of getting 2 vital points. I know deep down, John, you'll be quite happy, of course.
They'll be delighted because it means that Hull have the opportunity to really cement themselves in third place against London on Sunday now. But just to go back to the incident with Ian Smith, he could have given a penalty to Warrington and we would have had any of the aggravation we've got at the moment.
Oh, what on earth was that? Cunningham threw it to absolutely nowhere. That was a planned move that just fell apart.
Farfili, great ball from Farfili to Lima, but a great tackle back by Kieran Cunningham. Mark Gleeson. Right, well, 6 minutes to go to the end of the match. The gentlemen of the press have decided on their man of the match, Dave Hadfield.
Very good St Helens performance. We thought Cunningham and Long have both been good, but it's come down to 2 full-backs. Brent Gross has been terrific for Warrington, but no doubt the best player on the field tonight. Our man of the match, Paul Wellens.
So the man of the match is Paul Wellens, the St Helens full-back, and worthy of the watch. This is Lyon. Great strength.
Well, I don't think you get any arguments from anybody about that. He's been superb, hasn't he? Reads the game.
Glad to hear Dave Hadfield giving an honourable mention in dispatches for his opposite number, Brent Gross.
Well, he's had a big game, especially the second half.
Oh,
Roby's away.
He's bounced through the tacklers. He's gone for broke himself. Wilkin has knocked off.
They've bombed a few, haven't they?
Again though, Steve, we're just talking about Ben Westwood there when that break happened. He intelligently gets himself in between Sean Long and the man carrying the ball, James Roby. Makes life difficult for that easy support pass on the inside and eventually saves a try, although it won't help his team win here.
Well, you're right there, and a bit of a knock. And it's amazing, at one point it looked as though St Helens were well and truly out on their feet. It has been a great effort when you think about the hard match that they had last week. Warrington have had the luxury of a fortnight off to build for this game.
Is taking the early bat, looks like he won't be returning. Bit of an air shot from Brent Gross.
And it could also well have been very positive in the end. But notice how Wellens applied the pressure, stood his ground.
Release!
I think the terminology in soccer, isn't it, making yourself big.
Is it a goalie? Yes. Drive forward here by Paul Wood.
Keep coming,
Can Warrington just finish with a flourish?
Lightfall.
Paul Cullen will be, well, somewhat pleased that they got themselves out of the quandary that they had in the first half. They, at times, have produced some pretty quality football where in the first 40 they looked a little bit lost. In fact, they lost so many times they just squandered away any opportunities.
Midfield up and under from Bridge. Bounces to Graham. Tackled by John Clark.
Well, this is where St Helens are extremely dangerous.
This fella's come on a bundle this year, hasn't he, Eddie Gardner? He really has.
And to be fair to him, you know, over the past couple of weeks, he's just had a little bit of a wobble, and it's always great to see players who can dig deep with themselves inside and say, I know I've got to work harder. He's done that tonight.
Come on. Hold. Don't whirly, Mark.
Cunningham, the dummy half. Sculthorpe. Long has gone without it. And John Clark has it and has given it to Nathan Wood.
Well, it's a typical example of a team that know they've got this game won and going through their set motions. And I'm afraid the last 2 set moves have been disastrous.
Back it up, Willie.
3 minutes to go and a 20-point cushion. Martin Gleeson. Well, that was a Jamie Lyon-esque pass, but it wasn't a catch in the Darren Albert class from Henry Farfili.
Well, it wasn't a lion, it was more of a pussycat, wasn't it? I mean, it's been the story of their life. To be fair, they really have kept Martin Gleeson quiet.
Other than the try, yes, you're right.
Lock in, John.
Yes, you're right. But I know that the Warrington coach will be bitterly disappointed because it's been a great week for the club off the field. He just wanted, and he believed he was going to get a victory against St Helens tonight.
Movement,
2 weeks to prepare.
No penalties.
Saints involved in that cup semi-final.
And he's certainly got an improved performance from the last time we saw them play, and I suppose that's the first thing you can want as a coach. You want to always win the game, and you certainly won't when you play against a team who I think tonight have been possibly almost at their best here. The work they had to do in defence, the strength and the ruthlessness when they've had a chance to score, really all coupled together. I don't know whether Warrington would have beaten any other side. I'm sorry. Oh, here we go.
Well, Nathan Wood and Kieran Cunningham.
Well, somewhere in there is somebody's head.
You know this, if you can track anything back here, you track it back to when Nathan Wood was shoved through the advertising hoardings. If Ian Smith had given a penalty to Warrington then, perhaps all the shenanigans we've seen in the last 10 minutes might never have happened. Brent Gross it was, wasn't he? Went through.
Yeah, it is Gross, the fullback. Just put his head down before he hit the barrier.
He nearly.
That's what I'm saying. He put his head underneath it. You can see it coming.
It's going to be a penalty to St Helens here.
You talk about Paul Wellens, deservedly so, picking up Man of the Match award, but I must say that there's a headbutt from Nathan Wood, and then 3, 4 misses on contact. But to me, when Kieran Cunningham decided to take control of the dummy half position, it was when St Helens suddenly started to fire yet again.
And they look in the mood in the last 30 seconds to just rub a bit more salt into the wounds. Wigan, big win against Salford. Here is Sean Long. Gets the ball away. And it's a knock-on.
Well, the one thing that Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach, will be doing this next week, they'll be saying that, OK, we know psychologically you've won the game at 30 points to 10, but he knows also that there's still a lot of work, a bit of composure to bring back into the side.
Daniel Anderson wants to be the first man to welcome his players into the dressing room, and he can do that now. Paul Wellens wins the Man of the Match award. St Helens win the points, and perhaps significantly go to the top of the table tonight. They leapfrog the Leeds Rhinos, who wait for the Leeds Centurions on Sunday. If Leeds win there, they'll go back top, and Leeds will be relegated. But at the moment we have new leaders of the Engage Super League, Saints, who've won by 30 points to 10.